I don't know how else to say this, you will believe me or not, something is happening, something terrifying. Please don't think I'm insane. Just hear me out. I live in a sprawling US city, a labyrinth of concrete and steel that never sleeps. But what I saw, it wasn't just the city that was awake. It was early October, and the skies had opened up, unleashing torrents of rain for days on end. Maybe that's why they came out. So far, I've only seen them after these heavy downpours. I was walking home one night. I forgot the exact date, but the details of that walk are etched into my memory like a scar. The sky was a murky tapestry of cloud and darkness, and the rain was relentless. I had my headphones in, lost in a podcast or some song, I can't remember. My neighborhood is generally safe, so I never thought twice about walking alone at night. As I turned the corner onto a street near my apartment, I saw it. At first, I thought it was just a stray dog, huddled at the end of a blind alley. It was darker than the night, a void against the green metal fence it leaned against. It was crouched in a nearly spherical shape, its head buried between its long, spindly front legs. I must have made a noise, maybe my footsteps splashed in a puddle or the rain muffled my approach. Whatever it was, the creature unfurled itself, and that's when I saw its face. Imagine a dog, but strip away all the canine features and replace them with something grotesquely human. Its eyes were a piercing white, like twin moons in the night sky. It had a small bump where a nose should be, and its teeth, those were the worst part, small, but unmistakably human. For a moment, we locked eyes. Time seemed to freeze, the raindrops hanging in the air like suspended animation. Then, with a fluid motion that seemed almost unnatural, it crawled into an open manhole. I stood there, paralyzed, as a hand, yes, a human-like hand, reached out to pull the manhole cover back into place. I ran. I ran as if the hounds of hell were on my heels, my heart pounding in rhythm with my footsteps. By the time I reached my apartment, I was soaked to the bone and trembling, not from the cold, but from an unshakable dread that had settled deep within me. The next morning, as I brushed my teeth, I tried to laugh it off. The rain, the darkness, they must have played tricks on my eyes. But deep down, a seed of terror had been planted, and it was starting to grow. I couldn't forget what I'd seen, and the worst part was that the alley where I'd encountered that thing was on my usual route home. Days turned into weeks, and the calendar pages fell away like leaves from autumn trees. It was now late November, and the memory of that night in October still haunted me. I couldn't shake it, no matter how much I tried to rationalize it away. The manhole cover in that blind alley seemed to mock me every time I passed by, its dark opening like an eye that watched and waited. Then came another rainy night, the kind where the sky seems to weep for the earth. I was walking home, my judgment clouded by the liquid courage coursing through my veins. Alcohol has a way of making you feel invincible, even when you're anything but. As I approached the alley, I saw it. The manhole cover was off again, the hole yawning open like a mouth in the ground. This time, I didn't hesitate. Fueled by a reckless mix of curiosity and bravado, I walked straight up to it. I peered into the abyss below, seeing nothing but the first few rungs of a metal ladder descending into darkness. I thought about closing the cover, being the good citizen that I was, and that's when I heard it, a hissing sound, like air escaping from a tire, but far more sinister. I turned around, and there it was. Another creature, its eyes glowing in ethereal white, its teeth bared in a snarl or perhaps a smile. It was crouched on its hind legs, its hands, or what passed for hands, touching the ground. It hissed at me, a sound so chilling it seemed to freeze my very soul. I took a step back, my heart pounding like a drum in my chest. The creature didn't move, it just kept hissing, its eyes locked onto mine. I took another step back, carefully navigating around the open manhole, and that's when I felt it, a small, bony hand gripping the hem of my jeans. Instinct took over. I kicked back, felt my foot connect with something hard, and heard a guttural grunt. The creature in front of me lunged, but I dodged to the side and broke into a run. I could hear it behind me, the sound of its bony feet slapping against the wet concrete echoing in my ears. I rounded a corner, and then, as suddenly as it had started, the sound stopped. I dared to look back, just in time to see its hind legs disappear into the shadows. Since that night, I've noticed more and more open manhole covers, not just in my neighborhood, but all over the city. And it's not just me. I've seen them more frequently, these hunched, bony figures lurking in the peripheries of my vision. After heavy rainfalls, I've spotted them hiding behind dumpsters and trash cans. When the first snow of the season fell, I saw two of them huddled together behind a car in a dimly lit alley. December arrived, bringing with it a blanket of snow that covered the city like a shroud. I had become increasingly paranoid, my eyes darting to every open manhole or shadowy alley I passed. I thought about leaving the city, but where could I go? They could be anywhere, everywhere. Then, just a few days ago, it happened. I was walking home, the air crisp and clean from the wet snow that had fallen earlier in the afternoon. I was almost at my apartment, just 2 houses down, when I saw it, a flicker of movement in a basement window. My heart sank as I approached, my steps slowing but my curiosity pulling me forward like a moth to a flame. As I walked past the window, I shifted my gaze to get a better look. That's when a bony, black hand slammed against the glass. I jumped back, my heart in my throat, and for a split second, our eyes met, those hauntingly wide eyes glaring at me through the window. I ran. My feet pounded the snow-covered pavement, each step taking me further from that basement window but closer to an inescapable truth. I didn't hear any footsteps behind me, but the hissing, oh God, the hissing, echoed in my ears long after I had slammed my apartment door shut behind me. I don't know if they're following me or if they're content to stay in their subterranean world, but one thing is clear, they know that I know. And now you know too. I can't say for sure what they are or where they come from, but they're here, lurking in the bowels of the city, waiting for the cover of rain or darkness to emerge. So, the next time you walk past an open manhole, or hear the sound of heavy rain against your window, think of me and this warning. They're out there, hidden in plain sight or perhaps out of sight, but never out of mind. And if you ever find yourself doubting, just remember those white eyes, that chilling hiss, and know that some horrors are too real to be ignored. I'm typing this on the metro, my fingers trembling over the keys. My eyes dart from my phone screen to the window's reflection, and back again. I'm not alone. There's someone else, someone whose gaze I can feel, even if I can't see it. I pray that when I hit send, this message finds its way to the world above. I need you to know what's happening, because I'm not sure how much longer I can keep running. Life was simpler back then. I was a junior in college, studying justice and law. I had just landed an internship with a government agency. It was a dream come true. Paid, with college credit, and a foot in the door of my future career. I was commuting to downtown Washington 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. The metro was my chariot, and I thought little of the faces that came and went around me. How naive I was. October 31st, Halloween. A day for spooks and scares, but the real world doesn't pause for the fantastical. I boarded the metro, pleased to find it less crowded than usual. I snagged a seat and began texting my sorority sisters about the weekend's plans, costumes, parties, the usual college fare. Then he boarded, the man who would haunt my thoughts for years to come. He looked to be in his mid-30s, his face weathered, perhaps by hardship or substance abuse. He paced the car nervously, his eyes never settling, before striding to the other end. 2 stops later, he erupted. "Help! Help! Help!" he screamed, flailing like a man possessed. My heart pounded in my chest as another man entered the scene, a stark contrast, dressed to the nines, oozing confidence and sophistication. The well-dressed man cornered his prey, leaning in close enough for their breaths to mingle. "I have eyes all over this city," he whispered, his voice laced with menace. "If you don't get me my money by 5 p.m., I will find you and I will not hesitate to kill you. Do you understand me?" My jaw dropped. Was this some sick Halloween prank? Before I could process it, chaos erupted. The frantic man broke free, screaming for help again, climbing over a woman and her child. Another passenger intervened, restraining him in a headlock and pushing him out at the next stop. As the train resumed its journey, my eyes met those of the dapper man. He tipped his hat, his eyes dark pools that seemed to swallow the light, and a shiver ran down my spine. I knew then that I had become a player in a game far larger and more dangerous than I could have ever imagined. 4 years had passed since that fateful Halloween encounter, and I had moved on, or so I thought. I graduated, secured a job at the same government agency where I interned, and continued my life in a rhythm of normalcy. The metro was still my daily commute, but the faces had become a blur again, just nameless souls sharing a ride through the city's veins. That is, until last week. He was there, the dapper man, as if plucked from the past and dropped into my present. The same outfit, the same dark eyes that seemed to pierce through me. He tipped his hat and greeted me with a "Good day," as if we were old acquaintances. Panic surged through me. I got off at the next stop, abandoning the train for the safety of an Uber, but the feeling of dread clung to me like a second skin. Today, I left work early, feeling run down from the city's erratic weather. I boarded the metro, hoping for an uneventful ride home. But as I settled into my seat, my eyes met his across the car. The dapper man? Again. My heart sank into the pit of my stomach. How did he know I'd be here, in this car, at this time? My fingers trembled as I typed this account, his eyes never leaving me. I don't know what to do. I don't know what he wants or why he's chosen to re-enter my life now. But I do know that I'm not safe. As I finish typing this, my stop approaches. I have to make a choice. Get off and risk leading him to my home, or stay on and go. Where? I decide to get off, but as I stand, he stands too. Our eyes lock one final time, and he smiles, a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. I rush out, not looking back, praying that this message reaches someone who can help me understand what's happening. As I walk away from the metro, my phone finally regains its signal, and this message is sent into the world. I can only hope that someone out there has the answers I so desperately seek. Until then, I remain vigilant, always looking over my shoulder, wondering when and where he will appear next. And to those of you who ride the metro, always wear your headphones, and keep your head down. You never know who might be watching. I still use cable TV. Don't judge me, okay? I like having the local news on. It was October, I still remember that time. The TV news is usually about small stuff like traffic or animal birthdays. But tonight was different. The news anchors, Steve and Emily, seemed normal at first. They talked about the usual stuff. Then Steve said something that made me look up. "Breaking news," he said. "There's a chemical leak nearby. Stay inside, close your windows, and pull your curtains." Emily added, "We're waiting for more details. Stay tuned." I felt a chill. A chemical leak? That's big news. But why were they so calm? I checked the internet. Nothing. I switched to other news channels. Still nothing. I went back to my local news, feeling uneasy. Half an hour later, Steve repeated the warning. "Stay inside. Close your windows. This is dangerous," Emily said. "It's really bad. You could die if you go outside." Now I was really worried. Why was there no other news about this? I peeked outside. Everything looked normal. But something felt off. I sat back down and watched Steve and Emily laugh and joke. They even said the leak was from a train, not a plant. What was going on? I looked outside again. Cars were missing. A family down the street got into their car and drove off. Should I leave too? I felt stuck. I didn't know what to do. I went back to the news. They were talking about something else. But then I saw it. A message on the screen. They are lying, run now. It disappeared fast. Did I imagine it? Emily left the set. Steve stayed, smiling at the camera for a long time. Then the camera showed weird stuff. An empty parking lot. The moon. When it came back to Steve, all the cars were gone. What was happening? Steve moved on to another story. But I couldn't focus. I looked outside again. Almost all the cars were gone. I felt scared. Steve signed off, telling everyone to stay inside. Then he did something really creepy. He moved the camera to show that the set was in the middle of a black void. Nothing was there. Just darkness. He whispered, "You're doing great. Stay put." He likes it when you stand in front of the bathroom mirror. That's when I heard it. A noise from my bathroom. I ran. I heard my bathroom mirror break as I dashed out the door. Something tried to pull me back in, but I broke free. I got into my car and drove. I've been driving for hours now. My GPS keeps taking me back to the news station. I don't know what to do. I keep driving, my hands gripping the wheel so hard they hurt. My phone buzzes. It's a text from a friend, but when I open it, all it says is, "Stay put. Windows closed." The same words Steve whispered. My heart pounds. I ignore it and keep driving. Suddenly, my car radio turns on by itself. It's Steve's voice. "Breaking news! If you're listening to this, you're doing great. Just keep driving. You'll be here with us soon." I slam my hand on the radio, turning it off. My GPS beeps, rerouting again back to the news station. No way am I going there. I take a random exit, tires screeching. I need to hide. I pull into an empty parking lot and kill the engine. I sit there, breathing hard. Then I remember the bathroom mirror. What did Steve mean? I look in the rearview mirror and freeze. For a split second, I see Steve's smiling face in the back seat. I turn around fast, but there's nothing there. Just an empty car. My phone buzzes again. A news alert this time. Chemical leak contained. All clear given. Should I trust it? I look up and see my reflection in the rearview mirror again. But something's off. My reflection, it's smiling at me, but I'm not smiling. Then it mouths the words, "Stay put." That's it. I can't stay here. I start the car and floor it, not caring where I'm going. My GPS starts rerouting again, but this time, I'm not following it. I'm not following anything or anyone. I just need to get as far away as possible from whatever this is. As I drive, I pass a sign that says, "You're now leaving my town's name." A wave of relief washes over me, but it's short-lived. My phone buzzes one more time. It's a text from an unknown number. "You can leave, but you'll always be here with us. See you soon." I grip the wheel tighter and press the gas pedal down as far as it will go. I don't know where I'm headed, but I know I won't go back. I've been on the road for what feels like forever. The gas gauge is dipping low, so I pull into a gas station. It's well lit, and there are a few cars around. Normal people doing normal things. It feels good, but I'm still on edge. I fill up the tank quickly, avoiding my reflection in the car windows. As I'm about to get back in my car, I get another text. It's from my friend again, but this time it says, "Where are you? Are you okay?" I want to reply, to tell someone about this nightmare, but then I remember the earlier text. Can I trust this? I decide not to answer. I get back on the highway. My GPS is still acting up, but I ignore it. I drive for hours, watching the landscape change. Finally, I see a motel sign up ahead. I'm so tired. Maybe it's far enough away. Maybe it's safe. I pull into the motel parking lot. It's a rundown place, but there are a few cars in the lot. I go to the front desk and get a room. The clerk doesn't ask questions. I pay in cash. Once inside the room, I lock the door and check the bathroom. No mirror. I feel relieved. I sit on the bed, my body aching. My phone buzzes. Another news alert. Local news anchor Steve reported missing. Last seen at the broadcast studio. My blood runs cold. Missing? What does that mean for me? I turn on the TV, flipping through channels until I find a news station. There's a picture of Steve, asking for information about his whereabouts. The anchor says he was last seen acting strangely during a broadcast. I turn off the TV. I can't take any more. I lie down on the bed, fully clothed, and close my eyes. Just a few minutes of rest, I tell myself. I must have fallen asleep because I'm jolted awake by a sound. It's coming from outside the room. Footsteps. I hold my breath, listening. The footsteps stop right outside my door. Then I hear it, a soft whisper. "You're doing great. Just stay put." I jump off the bed, grab my keys, and bolt out the back window. I don't look back. I get in my car and drive away as fast as I can. The motel, the town, Steve, whatever this is, I leave it all behind. I drive until the sun comes up. I'm in a different state now, far from home. My phone buzzes one last time. It's a news alert. Chemical leak found to be a hoax. Local news station under investigation. A hoax? Was any of this real? I don't know, but I do know one thing. I'm not going back. I keep driving, leaving my old life behind. Maybe I'm running away, but from what, I'm not sure. All I know is I need to keep moving, keep driving, and never look back.